Welcome to the College Investor Audio Show, where we talk about the biggest issues impacting millennial money, from student loan debt to side hustles to building wealth. We will show you how to get out of debt so that you can build real wealth for the future.
Welcome to the show today, as we talk about how some colleges actually offer school-wide admission. Others admit applicants based on chosen majors. Admissions rates can vary dramatically from one major to the next. So today, here's how colleges admit students based on major. All right, so you might be asked to choose a major as you apply to different colleges and prepare to attend the school. And depending on the college or university you apply to, your plans for a major can actually impact your admission chances. So as you think about where you want to study, consider the difference between colleges that offer school-wide admission versus admission to a specific major and what that difference might mean for your acceptance chances. Let's talk about school-wide admission or admission by major, kind of defining our terms. So for many colleges, your application will be evaluated for acceptance into the school as a whole, regardless of your chosen major. But for some schools with disproportionately popular majors, this can lead to issues down the road. If too many students decide to pursue the same field of study, some might have difficulty getting into the classes they need for an on-time graduation. To deal with this possibility, certain schools require you to apply for specific majors, so if the major is particularly coveted, admission will accordingly be more competitive. Let's take a look at an example. You might consider applying to the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, or UIUC. For fall of 2022, UIUC's overall admission rate was 45%. However, the numbers break down very differently for certain majors. For instance, only 7% of those who applied to study computer science were admitted to the program, versus 52% of applicants who were admitted to study education. As you can see, if you apply to UIUC, you'll have a far better chance of being admitted to the education program than to the computer science program. But even schools that primarily admit by major might nonetheless offer a way to get in without declaring a major early on. UIUC has a general studies program for which 49% of applicants were accepted. So you can kind of start there if you haven't finalized what you'd like to focus on. In some cases, colleges with school-wide admission require students to ultimately transition from a general studies program and apply for specific majors later in their college careers. So you might get into a school and start attending, but there's really no guarantee that you'll be admitted to your program of choice once it's actually time to choose a major. So let's take a look at why some schools admit students based on major. Aside from what we've already mentioned, deciding to admit students based on their majors can be a matter of practicality for a school. Some of the reasons that a college might require prospective students to indicate a preferred major in their applications include these things. Just proper staffing. With major-based admission, schools can ensure that they have enough faculty available to teach all their classes. If there are already plenty of students in a program, admitting more students to that major might not make sense. Knowing in advance which fields of study will have the greatest demand allows a school to allocate staff accordingly and fully meet the needs of its students. Tailored academic advice. When you're admitted to a specific major rather than to a school as a whole, your academic questions can be answered by specialized department staff instead of generalists. Major-based admission provides early access to knowledgeable career and academic support related to your field of study. Access to underserved communities. In the case of UIUC, the admit to major approach has resulted in a higher percentage of Hispanic and Black students attending the school. Admitting based on major allows different departments to use different admission criteria. Diverse admission criteria can allow for a more diverse student body than uniform admission criteria. Program-specific criteria. When each individual department or major can determine its own admission criteria, the students it admits are more likely to possess the academic qualities needed to succeed in that specific field. So, for example, when reviewing an applicant's college entrance exams, an engineering department might value high math and science scores, but deprioritize scores in English. But regardless of its reasons, it's vital for you to understand if a college practices school-wide or major-specific admission. Knowing which method a school uses in its college admissions process can help you make informed decisions about which schools to apply to and which to skip. Let's talk about deciding on a major. So as you consider which school to attend and what major to pick, it's essential to realistically assess your chances of acceptance. A lot of schools provide data about their admission rates and for specific majors. Let's take a look at Purdue University's fall 2022 rate for computer science majors. It was just 33% of applicants. So if you want to attend school for computer science, you actually have a better chance, statistically speaking, of getting into the program at Purdue as opposed to UIUC. Remember, they were just 7%. So another consideration is which majors are admitting more students. So by looking at admission rates by major, you might actually get an idea of which career paths are in demand and which fields of study still have a shortage of interest. A major's high admit rate may indicate a lack of interest from your peers, which might also make for a less competitive job market later, though. Let's talk about actually applying to a specific major. When you decide on a major, you'll have to apply to an appropriate school. Many colleges and universities divide their admission and administration in programs into schools on campus, such as the School of Education or the School of Engineering. There might be various majors and programs inside these different schools. Depending on the college and how it manages its admissions, you might need to apply to the college and simply designate a major or apply directly to the program that offers the major. Some colleges have a standard portion of their applications that everyone fills out, followed by a more specialized portion based on your major. Other colleges may direct you straight to the relevant program and have you start your application there. As you move forward, research a college's specific process to make sure you're on track and double-check that the college offers the program you're interested in. You can get a list of application requirements and tailor your essay to focus on why you're interested in and qualified for that specific field of study. You can even boost your admission chances by engaging in the right extracurricular activities that specifically relate to your desired major. The bottom line? Yeah, some colleges will admit you based on the major you choose. But if you select a major with a lot of applicants, it's probably going to be a little harder to get accepted to that program. So find out if the colleges you're looking at admit students based on their chosen majors, or if they have school-wide applications. Either way, get the statistics on admission rates in your major so you have an idea of how competitive both the major and the industry as a whole might be. If you have your heart set on a program with a particularly low admission rate, working with a college admissions consultant might actually be a worthwhile investment to give you a competitive edge over fellow applicants.